it's probably leaning towards guilt. Now, on the racketeering, I agree with you that the predicate acts may be found, but that's not all they need. There's an ultimate question. The first question on the jury verdict form is, do you find him guilty or not guilty of racketeering? Before you even get to the predicate acts, which you only get to if you find guilt, they could just be hung up on that question and say, this guy's not Tony Soprano. I am not convinced that I even want to find guilt on the act.
Reports say Sean Diddy Combs is cutting a deal with the FBI, and the man he's ready to hand over is Jay-Z. That is the story shaking the hip-hop world this week. Because if the leaks are true, it's not just a legal deal. It's personal revenge disguised as cooperation. We're told Diddy wants house arrest instead of his 50-month prison term, a reduced fine, and the dismissal of recent lawsuits that have drained his empire. But prosecutors allegedly demanded something big in return, the name of someone higher, someone closer. According to multiple insiders, Diddy offered up his oldest ally, the man he once called his brother, Jay-Z.
So why should I care? He did a whole lot of shit to a whole lot of people. And now he's paying for it. So all these cats, I guess y'all get y'all visitation rights. Some of y'all can get y'all conjugal visits right with them. I don't give a.
We have to remember where this started. Diddy is serving just over 4 years after being convicted on transportation for solicitation charges in New York. His 2024 trial was brutal. Prosecutors accused him of coercing women into unwanted encounters. His own recordings were used against him, and his apology in court became a national headline. "I ask your honor for mercy," he said through tears, promising that he'd changed. But in the months since sentencing, the talk around him hasn't been about remorse. It's been about strategy. Insiders now say Diddy is negotiating directly with federal agents, offering evidence, files, and names in exchange for leniency. The whisper spreading through entertainment law circles is that he believes Jay-Z was the one who set him up to fall. The claim sounds unbelievable until we line up what's happened. Jay-Z has remained almost entirely silent since Diddy's arrest in September 2024, a silence that's begun to look calculated. At that time, Diddy's homes were raided, dozens of witnesses came forward, and the FBI described his behavior as a pattern of exploitation. Yet Jay-Z, the man who shared decades of public brotherhood with him, said nothing. 50 Cent even mocked him online, posting that Jay-Z must be missing because no one could find him to comment. Within weeks, both men were named in the same amended civil lawsuit. A woman identified only as Jane Doe accused them of taking turns assaulting her at a 2000 after-party following the Video Music Awards. She said she was 13 at the time, that she had been sedated, and that a well-known female celebrity watched. Jay-Z's team denied the claim, calling it a blackmail attempt, while Diddy's lawyers prepared for another round of charges. The contrast was sharp. One man jailed, the other untouched.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men.
That lawsuit, resurfacing 2 decades after the event, appears to be the moment Diddy turned against his former friend. Sources familiar with his camp say he began telling associates that Jay-Z had more to hide than anyone. Around that same period, new attention turned to Jay-Z's unresolved paternity scandals. 2 separate individuals, a woman named Letitia Macer and a man named Ramier Satterthwaite, have both claimed for years that Jay-Z is their father, and both cases have now re-entered the courts. Letitia, from Maryland, says she grew up being told Jay-Z was her father, that her family introduced her mother to him, and that everyone in their neighborhood knew. She's posted photos online comparing their faces, saying there's no way he can deny anything. A former friend of Jay-Z, singer Ashino, even alleged that Jay-Z pays for Masir's home in Cambridge, Maryland, under a private arrangement that keeps his name off the mailbox.
I would hope he would think about it and this would be in his mind, but I wouldn't actually know what another person is feeling.
Meanwhile, Ramier Satterthwaite, now in his early 30s, continues to push for a DNA test after more than a decade of litigation. His late mother, Wanda, swore in an affidavit that she had a brief relationship with Jay-Z in 1992 when she was 16. Jay-Z's legal team has called his filings a decades-long campaign of harassment, and multiple courts have dismissed the suits. But that hasn't stopped the claims from resurfacing. Every time Jay-Z faces new public scrutiny. The most recent filing, dated May 2025, again accuses Jay-Z's attorneys of obstructing a test by falsely claiming he had no property in New Jersey. Jay-Z denies any wrongdoing and has asked federal judges to dismiss the case permanently. To Diddy's inner circle, this pattern looked like weakness, a secret that could be traded if things went bad. We have to look back at how deep their connection ran. In 1997, just after the loss of their mutual friend Biggie Smalls, Diddy featured Jay-Z on his album No Way Out, while Jay-Z returned the favor on In My Lifetime Volume 1. They both got in trouble 2 years later, Diddy fleeing the scene of a nightclub shooting with Jennifer Lopez, Jay-Z pleading guilty to an assault after an altercation with producer Lance Rivera. And the shared notoriety brought them closer. In 2005, they stood side by side, donating $1 million to Hurricane Katrina victims. By 2009, Diddy was calling Jay-Z his black brother during interviews, insisting that competition was only for outsiders. In 2020, at the Roc Nation Black Billionaire Brunch, Diddy toasted their unity. "We're here together and keeping staying together. We're getting tighter and united we stand." Jay-Z nodded beside him, the perfect image of loyalty.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
But loyalty in that world is fragile. After 2022, when Diddy received his Lifetime Achievement Award at the BET Awards and Jay-Z appeared in a tribute video calling him an inspiration, cracks started to show. The following year, as the first accusations of trafficking surfaced, Jay-Z kept his distance. By March 2024, federal agents had raided Diddy's Miami property, and 50 Cent's joke about Jay-Z hiding landed with millions of views. Publicly, Jay-Z had nothing to say, no statement of support, no comment on guilt, nothing at all. Privately, Diddy interpreted that silence as betrayal. Those close to him say he began accusing Jay-Z of feeding investigators leads through intermediaries, a rumor impossible to verify but powerful enough to circulate through entertainment law offices and gossip pages alike.
As far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70, that's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
Then came December 2024, when the amended civil suit named them both. That was the breaking point. One of Diddy's associates told a reporter that he snapped, he started talking about payback. If the reports are true, that payback now comes in the form of cooperation. What Diddy allegedly offered to the FBI wasn't just paperwork. It was context, stories, correspondences, and private accounts connecting Jay-Z to what one agent reportedly called the same network of enablers. For investigators who have struggled to connect celebrity power with alleged exploitation, that kind of insider testimony would be invaluable. And for Diddy, who has already lost his freedom, his businesses, and much of his public standing, there may be nothing left to lose except revenge. To understand how personal this may be, we need to revisit another buried thread: the whispers about women who moved between both men's circles. Diddy has had long publicized relationships with Cassie Ventura, Kim Porter, and others. Jay-Z, of course, is married to Beyonce. But insiders claim that before that marriage, and even after, the social overlap was complicated. Diddy reportedly told friends that Jay-Z had been involved with several of the same women he once dated, that one relationship overlapped with a period when Diddy's partner was pregnant, and that this discovery ignited the feud. No evidence has surfaced to support that claim, but in tabloid logic, personal betrayal often drives public action.
And so the judge, again, seemed to be taking that matter pretty seriously and just pretty much said that, everyone, the attorneys, the witnesses' attorneys, the accusers' attorneys, they all have to adhere to these professional rules. They all have to adhere to this professional conduct. And if this continues and if more things are said that get onto the judge's radar.
If that's true, the alleged cooperation with the FBI isn't just a business move, it's emotional retaliation. The narrative forming around it paints Diddy as a man who believes he was destroyed by someone who once shared his secrets and now wants to flip the script. Legal insiders describe this as trading personal history for protection. What Diddy could actually provide remains unclear. Some think it involves financial records linked to Roc Nation. Others suspect it's about historical misconduct at events both men attended in the late 90s and early 2000s, including the infamous white parties that have drawn renewed scrutiny. As for Jay-Z, his current strategy seems to be silence, the same approach he used during Diddy's collapse. He's been seen at industry events, but refuses all questions about the lawsuits or about Diddy's situation. His lawyers are busy elsewhere, filing motions to dismiss the paternity claims, responding to inquiries about the Jane Doe case, and managing his brands under Roc Nation. Beyonce, too, has remained publicly detached, focusing on her tour and family. That calm image contrasts sharply with the chaos swirling around Diddy, which only feeds the idea that one man took the fall while the other walked free.
Man, I feel good, man. I feel good way before the sentencing, and I'm gonna feel good way after it. You know what I'm saying? That the sentencing don't have anything to do with how I feel. it just goes me to show, that tells me when God puts you in a position and puts you in a place to be involved in something, his word ain't never wrong.
The history between them makes the alleged betrayal even harder to process. After Biggie's passing, Diddy helped shape Jay-Z's early image. Jay-Z later invited Diddy to key business ventures. They stood together when hip-hop faced what police called a war on rap, both accused of glorifying violence, both navigating scandals. Over the years, Diddy often introduced Jay-Z as his strategist, the person he called when he got into trouble. He said that publicly at the 20th anniversary of Bad Boy Records: "Whenever I get in trouble, this is the one I call. This is my brother." Now, that same brother is reportedly the centerpiece of his last chance plea deal. What makes this all the more volatile is the timing. Diddy's trial for his remaining federal charges begins in May 2025. Jay-Z, at the same time, is still defending himself against new filings from Remir Satterthwaite and facing public pressure over the civil assault case. For prosecutors, that overlap could be leverage. For Diddy, it's opportunity. People close to him describe a man obsessed with legacy, not just escaping prison, but rewriting his downfall so that he isn't remembered as the only villain. If giving up Jay-Z achieves that, insiders say he'll do it.
So why does it all come to a head now? Why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time, like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup?
Yeah, we see the lineup.
Behind all of this is a question of motive. Why would Jay-Z, one of the most powerful figures in entertainment, risk turning against Diddy in the first place? One theory circulating among their shared network is self-preservation, that Jay-Z saw the investigations coming and quietly distanced himself to protect his billion-dollar brand. Another theory is darker, that he actively cooperated to divert attention from his own scandals, including the persistent whispers of secret children and past misconduct. Diddy's team reportedly believes the second version, and that belief fuels the cooperation talk now dominating the headlines.
Jay-Z new video with Nas and DJ Khaled is a scene with his checkerboards. These are all occult Satanists.
The irony is that both men once built their public image on loyalty and discretion. Together they embodied the shift from street power to corporate success, presenting themselves as examples of Black excellence transcending scandal. Their shared rise through the 90s and 2000s, from chart collaborations to Forbes rankings, made them symbols of unity. And yet, unity is the very thing now disintegrating. In just a few months, their friendship has become the axis of one of the most serious feuds in music history, one that may unfold inside a federal courtroom. The next phase will decide whether these rumors are strategy or fantasy. Lawyers close to the case have hinted that sealed filings exist describing Diddy's cooperative posture. Reporters waiting outside the courthouse in New York describe briefings about an ongoing negotiation. Though officials refuse to confirm details, what we do know is that Diddy's attorneys have asked for time to finalize an agreement, and that prosecutors have acknowledged his willingness to assist. That language alone is enough to keep the speculation alive.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
Now, insiders claim Diddy has told investigators everything: names, locations, timelines, and that the list he handed over includes not just rivals, but allies. The most shocking name, according to one person briefed on the talks, isn't an enemy at all. It's the man he once called his brother, Jay-Z. And if that's true, then the real story isn't about justice or mercy. It's about betrayal at the highest level of power, a brotherhood built on fame, money, and silence that may finally be tearing itself apart, one secret at a time. And from that moment, the whispers only got colder. People close to Diddy began saying he'd started collecting everything: messages, recordings, and personal stories, linking Jay-Z to the same circles that had already put him in court. Some of those sources insist the files contained references to private payments, non-disclosure agreements, even travel logs from the early 2000s that could reopen cases the industry hoped were buried for good. According to people briefed on the talks, the narrative Diddy is pushing to investigators is simple. Jay-Z knew, participated, and paid people to stay silent. The goal, they say, isn't just to cooperate, it's to make Jay-Z look like the architect of his downfall.
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand?
Allegedly. That's where the revenge turns personal. Several insiders claim Diddy's fury grew after learning Jay-Z had been involved with multiple women from his own circle. One of them, an influencer who dated both men years apart, is now rumored to have a child whose paternity remains a point of quiet speculation. We don't know whether that rumor carries any truth, but those who know Diddy best say the idea consumed him. The betrayal wasn't just professional anymore. It was private, humiliating, and impossible to ignore. Behind bars, he reportedly began telling associates, "If I go down, he's going with me." That line has been repeated enough times that lawyers on both coasts have started treating it as more than talk. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal spiral continues. He's been convicted, sentenced to more than 4 years, publicly shamed, and stripped of major partnerships. Yet Jay-Z remains untouched. No charges, no courtroom appearances, just private jets and quiet dinners in New York. The contrast has become impossible to miss. Diddy punished, Jay-Z protected. And so the question spreads. Did Jay-Z secretly cooperate with investigators first, feeding them just enough to keep himself clear, while Diddy took the fall? That's the theory Diddy supporters have started to push, calling his new plea deal not an act of surrender, but payback wrapped in paperwork. At the same time, a strange sort of psychological warfare has begun to play out. Anonymous posts have appeared hinting that Diddy's people have evidence implicating Roc Nation in older settlement deals. Rumors swirl that even Beyonce's brand could face scrutiny if prosecutors trace certain payments or witness statements too far. No confirmation, of course, but it's enough to make sponsors nervous. We've heard that Diddy's contacts have been telling journalists, it's not about freedom anymore. It's about humiliation, and the more those whispers grow, the more we see the balance of power shifting. Jay-Z might be free for now, but he's no longer untouchable.
U.S. attorney, what you want you want the best attorneys you can have in there, and it really, I know you want to, like we said, appearances matter, but you want to win this case, and you need, like you said, it's harder for them.
Industry veterans are watching this like a chess match between two men who once ruled the same empire. Every leaked email, every sudden court filing, feels like another move on the board. Insiders claim that Diddy's cooperation could drag out for months, that he's drip-feeding investigators just enough to keep them interested, testing how much damage he can cause before anyone retaliates. It's a slow, quiet burn, and no one knows how much of it is real and how much is bluff. But the fact that Jay-Z's team has tightened communication, canceled appearances, and refused comment tells us that at least someone inside his camp is worried.
What's confusing is all of those things that you just said are also included in the racketeering count.
So we don't know what the vote is.
So we don't know what the vote is. It's hard to read what they...
And then there's the ultimate fear, that Diddy might have already handed something over. People familiar with the case say the FBI has been reviewing what they call supplemental material connected to his plea discussions. They won't confirm names, but if the reports are accurate, those files may contain references to multiple music executives, including Jay-Z himself. The idea that their friendship, once built on power and loyalty, could end with one testifying against the other has left fans stunned and insiders scrambling. Some see it as poetic justice, others see it as the inevitable price of a world built on secrets and survival. If Diddy's deal is real, Jay-Z's name may already be sitting inside sealed folders waiting for review before year's end. And when those pages open, everything, their history, their alliances, their entire legacy, could collapse overnight. The only thing we can't yet answer is the one question haunting every corner of the industry. Who really betrayed who first? Let us know what you think down below. Was it loyalty lost or strategy played? Until the next revelation breaks, we'll be watching. Stay tuned, stay curious, and remember, in this story, no one's hands are truly clean.